In this tutorial, we will create a query in the exMon administration client. To create the query, right-click the test folder and select New Query. Give it a name and press OK. In this tutorial, we will make a query that searches for customers that are missing a CRM category in an ERP system. For this tutorial, we have already created a SQL query to find the customers. So we select the data provider for the query, paste the SQL code into the query window and test if it runs OK. In the Properties pane, we can configure properties like description and timeout. In Advanced Properties, we can configure whether the query should trigger if the result dataset contains rows or if it does not contain any rows. By adding a task to the query, actions can be performed if the trigger condition is met. In our scenario, an email task is added which sends an email to somebody. We configure the task to auto-generate the email. In preview mode, exMon can simulate an execution and show detailed information about what would happen. Because an email task was added, an email will be generated containing the results, which in our case are the customers that are missing a CRM category. This email will be sent on each execution of the query and will contain all rows each time. The query can be made more intelligent by enabling exception management. When a query has exception management enabled, exMon will keep track of all individual rows returned from the query and create a new exception for each one. An email will be sent for each new exception found. We set the severity to high and data type to customers and add an exception template to summarize the exception results. The query can also be configured to split up the exceptions so that each one can have a separate responsible user. This can be configured by adding a column in the result set that contains email or Active Directory information for the responsible user. In our case, we add a created column to the SQL query and use that column to identify which user should get the exception. That means the user who created the customer in the ERP system will get an exception assigned to him because he probably forgot to choose the CRM category. To help prioritize which exceptions are important, an amount column can be selected. To do this, we modify the query to include a new column called Amount at Risk. This column contains a value indicating how much customers are in debt to our company. The column is then configured as the amount column in the exception management configuration. If we then go back to preview mode, we can see that after the changes, 3 different emails will be sent to 3 different users. We execute the query by pressing the Run button. All the emails will be sent out to the users and they will probably run to the computers and fix the customers missing the CRM category. When the query is executed again, exMon will automatically figure out which records have been fixed and close those exceptions. On the portal, we can monitor and see all the exceptions that are not resolved in exMon. Here we see the newly created exception, the user responsible, and the amount at risk.